Hi, it's Tara. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we are going to be creating a wallet made out of cardstock that you can use to put a gift card in. So it's going to look just like a real wallet, and it's going to have a closure, and it's got all these little pockets in there. We've got little gift card notes in here like celebrate and this little cupcake, and then in here I have like a little note that says happy birthday, love Tara. However, instead you can also take these and maybe just leave the celebrate or the happy birthday, or just leave this part and add some gift cards. So these slots right here will fit gift cards. I've got a nice little Dairy Queen one, a little Olive Garden one, but you could add whatever you want. If you want it for a restaurant or a winery or a brew house or Lowe's or Home Depot, if it's for a guy. This one is obviously more feminine with the little glitter, but you could make a nice leather one or brown and darker colors, which I'm going to do in an upcoming tutorial. But today we're going to do a little girly flair with some sparkles and glitter and kind of a princessy theme. So this one is actually cardstock that is from the Disney Princess Magic Deluxe from Cricut. So if you're interested in creating the same, then I'm going to try and link below some of the materials so that you can easily check them out and order them. As well as the glitter cardstock that I'm going to be using is also from Cricut. So this is going to be a super awesome project. You guys are going to love it. All right, let's get to our tutorial today. So the materials that I'm going to be using are going to be from the Cricut Disney Magic Deluxe paper set, and also the glitter cardstock, and then I also just have some regular white and black cardstock, and then a color of purple, I don't know, I guess it's more of like a plum color. And on the back it's two-sided and it's actually two different colors, but you can use one that is just a solid color. So we're going to be doing a lot of altering. There's going to be a lot of processes, so you're going to want to watch the whole video to make sure that you don't miss out on any of the tips and tricks and what we need to do to complete this with glitter cardstock. So let's get to it. Okay, so in Cricut Design Space, you're going to go into Search Projects, and we're going to type in wallet and click search, and then it's going to just be a couple rows down here. I have it favorited. It says Father's Day wallet gift card. This is the original design on Cricut Design Space, and today I just made some alterations just by the materials, and I changed up some of the saying on the inside, but you can obviously alter and add and change some fonts and things to make it what you would like it to be. But I also think it's awesome for a Father's Day gift or a birthday gift for a guy, or for whatever occasion, anniversary gift and whatnot. So instead we are going to go to My Projects. I have a few different designs that I've made some alterations to, and this one is the one we're going to be doing today. So we're going to go ahead and click Customize. Now, I'm not going to make any changes today with the pen color because I'm doing a lavender, and this is kind of pinks and purpley plum color in there, so I'm going to leave it as is. We're going to go ahead and click Make It. Okay, so we're going to click Make It, and then I'm going to click on Matte for my material, and I'm going to click Continue. And I'm going to scroll down
Just kind of looking to make sure that everything is where it needs to be. So I'm selecting cardstock, and then I am going to be using the pen, and I'm actually going to be using the single scoring wheel this time, but if you don't have the scoring wheel, you can use a scoring stylus. And then I'm going to be using the scoring stylus after this and editing in tools, where you can click into edit tools, and then you can select scoring stylus and click on that, and then you'll hit apply. So if you do not have the scoring wheel, you can just simply use your scoring stylus tool. But for this particular cut, I'm going to actually use the two separate ones because the scoring stylus shares the same slot as the pen.
Okay, so I am going to get this ready. I've got my single scoring wheel that I just have to pop in. So it should say number 1 on it. That's the single scoring wheel. And this is a quick swap housing from Cricut. And there also are some other brands out there that make them that look just like Cricut brand. When Cricut's not available, I will try and link in the description all of the tools that I'm using for this. And then I'm going to put my black ink pen, which is what it is asking for. So what's going to happen is it's going to score, it's going to write, and then it's going to ask me to remove my scoring wheel and add my fine point blade. So I'm going to keep that handy, and make sure that you check your fine point blade in between cuts. Just make sure that it's nice and clean. If it's not, just kind of give it a wipe off. Some people like to use foil. If you want to keep foil handy, that's just fine. What I do is I just simply use a little piece of a cotton swab. And the foil doesn't actually sharpen your blade, it's a myth. And what it does do is help get the gunk off. So obviously this cotton swab is not going to get gunk off. So if you want to do the foil more often, then absolutely, if that's what works for you, then please go ahead and do what you feel works the best for your crafting and creating. So first of all, I am going to be using my blue mat, which is my light grip mat. I like to have these labeled so that I'm always putting the dusty, dust-covered side on the outside, and then the sticky part that's touching the sticky part of my mat on the same side all the time, which this doesn't really get sticky, but it is touching adhesive from the mat all the time. I do have a video on this if you want to check it out after our little wallet making and make these cute little dust covers. It's just super helpful to just keep our mats lasting as long as possible. And then I'm going to go ahead and throw on my white cardstock onto my mat, and I have a brayer tool that I use and just kind of run it over and make sure that it's adhered. And then we're going to pop it into the machine. We're going to hit that feed button, and then I'm going to hit the play button as soon as it's ready, or the little Cricut button depending on which machine that you're using today. This craft can be done with an Explore series or a Maker series machine. So I'm going to go ahead and click the play button on my Maker 3, and it's going to go ahead and score and draw, and then like I said, I'm going to swap to the fine point blade. So I'll kind of just speed through this part here. My poor little Cinderella came apart, but I just love that as a little decor. It's so cute. I'm a big Disney fan. This is probably the longest part other than just putting it together. This project looks a lot more complex and complicated than it really is. And then I just added this little embellishment on this one with a little rhinestone. but it's super cute. And then, you know, I was showing that you can put the gift cards in the side here, but you could also put the gift card in here in the wallet part, and then put more gift cards in here, and then just put, you know, just fill this up with gift cards. You could fit, you know, 3 gift cards in here if you wanted to, and then just do a separate card with it, however you want to do it. Or this part, you could have the part that you make that has the celebrate or happy birthday little sign. You could stick this in here, and then have the other one have the little happy birthday note, and just do it like that. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use this wallet gift card, is how you want to present it to your gift recipient. And then part of the pattern does come with the envelope that you can put this into. But once you actually put this all together, it's pretty thick. So, I mean, if you want to use the envelope, you absolutely can. We're going to put it together today. Or you could put it in like a gift box, which I think would be really sweet too. Okay, so now it's going to cut this out. And then we always suggest to peel off away from your mat, material side down. Okay, on to the next, and this is the one that I said is going to be the glitter cardstock. So I'm going to use my strong grip mat for the glitter cardstock. Here's a really important hack that I'm going to be showing you. I am taking a piece of strong grip transfer tape, and I am going to put it on my strong grip mat, sticky side up. So you can actually just lay it right on my mat. And then peel off the backing. And I want that sticky side up and the non-sticky side of the strong grip tape to lay on my mat. So just like that. And it was a little wrinkled on that sheet there, so I'm just going to readjust and fix it. Okay, so that looks a little better. A little wrinkly in the corner still. Okay, so you want the strong grip transfer tape to be sticky side up, and then we are going to put our glitter on this, glitter side down, which means we are going to have to go over to Cricut Design Space now, and we are going to mirror our image because we are cutting this the opposite way. It is going to save our fine point blade. If we were to cut glitter side up, our blade would end up full of glitter. And in this instance, you will see when we get done, maybe the only thing that's going to happen is maybe some of the cardstock might get with the blade, but it is going to be clean and free of debris, and our mat is going to be clean and free of debris. So we're going to swap out to the double scoring wheel. So if you don't have this double scoring wheel, I would try to use the single scoring wheel, but if you do have the double scoring wheel, it's going to benefit you. So we're going to take out our, we are going to take out our fine point blade and just set that out of side. We are going to put our double scoring wheel in. We have this mirrored glittered cardstock, glitter side down. Going to feed it into the machine. I have it on more pressure. Now our fine point blade needs to go in. So I just want you to, take a look at our fine point blade before we stick it in there and see what it looks like. I'm just kind of pushing it up so you can take a look. And now we're gonna throw it in our machine and hit play. So if you saw my purse tutorial video, you will know that I did not do the hack that I am doing today, and my fine point blade got pretty glitter gunked up. So you're gonna see a whole difference if you watch that video and then you see this after cutting. And there is a lot of tiny little detailed cuts that it is cutting in that glitter cardstock, as you can see right here, these little like rectangles. The other thing I want to suggest to you is when this is done cutting with the glitter cardstock, we are going to keep it on the mat. You're going to use some type of a weeding tool. I'm going to use this one right here, and I'm going to use it to poke out all of the little bits and pieces while it's right on the strong grip transfer tape on the mat. Okay, so the glitter cardstock is done. As you can see, all those little bits and pieces are floating around. So I'm going to set this aside because we're going to be using a regular mat for the other cuts, and then we'll come back to this one and we'll pick all those little bits out with our weeding tool. Next up is our Disney princess, and this is double-sided. So you are going to want cardstock that's double-sided, and you're going to see both patterns on this project. So you want to make sure that whatever you choose, you're happy with whatever's on both sides, whether it's a solid sheet of something or if it's decorative like this, that you're happy with both colors or what designs are on both sides. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in and I'm going to edit, and I'm going to use my stylus, my scoring stylus, so I don't have to swap out my scoring housing for my fine point blade. Oh, and I told you we were going to check this fine point blade. So we just cut glitter cardstock, and check that out. By placing the glitter cardstock on strong grip transfer tape on a strong grip mat, we have got a fine point blade that is completely glitter free, that just cut glitter. Look at how clean that blade is. Other than, I've noticed the last couple times I've done this, that it does get a little bit of the backing of the cardstock. No glitter on the blade. Look at how great that looks. Okay, so we're gonna put that back in.
So to edit to a scoring stylus, you're just gonna click in, click Edit Tools, click on Scoring Stylus, and then click Apply. And then I can use my scoring stylus instead of the scoring wheel on the quick swap housing, and then I don't have to swap out my blade for the quick swap housing. It's just going to score and cut without me having to swap out tools.
Okay, so this one's done cutting. I'm just going to put it material side down. Peel off. So this is the gift card pockets. This is kind of tricky to fold, so I'll show you how to do that. Make sure you stick around. And I'm gonna set my pieces that I need off to the side over here. And we are gonna move on to our plum color. And I guess it really doesn't matter which side I put down. I think I'm just gonna put this side up, because either side is gonna match and go along with my little theme that I've got going on here. And I did have to edit and change it to my scoring stylus again. And I'm just going to feed it into the machine. So it's simple to just switch to the scoring stylus. That way you don't have to do the quick swap housing when it's not necessary or needed. But if I was using a pen, then it makes sense to have the quick swap housing in there. It's like as many things as you can do at the same time and just make things get done faster or more simple. That's the way to go. So hopefully throughout my tutorials, I can continue to give you little tips and tricks along the way that make your crafting a little bit easier and a little bit more fun. Okay, this one's done scoring and cutting. So this is the other part of the little wallet. I'm gonna set that aside. This is my scrap. And then the last one is going to be just the little black part we're gonna glue these pieces onto. So they're just gonna be simple rectangles. And I'm gonna clean off my little bits off my mat. I have a little mini trash can that I keep my scraps and put my little scraps into. I found some similar ones on Amazon, so I will try and link those in the description. The little mini trash bins, if you don't have a large trash can in your craft room, which I do not. I just simply don't have the space for a large trash can in here, so these little tabletop ones are just perfect. And then for my big ones, I just take them in the kitchen and throw them in when I'm done. My big scraps, that is. Okay, so we're just gonna simply pop on this last little black piece of cardstock. And throw it into the machine. And all it's gonna do is, like I said, cut out some simple little rectangles. So at this point, this scoring stylus doesn't really need to be in there, but it doesn't hurt to have it in there. Just want to make sure to take it off when you're going to close up your machine, that's all. Okay, so that's the last cut of all the pieces that we're going to need to make this wallet. So I'm just going to pop these off the mat, and then we are going to put it all together. Okay, so this is the part where we're going to use our weeding tool, and I got this from a weeding tool Cricut set. However, you can use the hook weeding tool or a pen weeding tool, whatever you happen to have handy. And then this is a Tweexy little ring holder. It is actually her ring holder. It's a nail polish holder that also they're marketing and selling for exactly what I'm using it for, as a little weeding trash bin. Especially when you're using like adhesive vinyl or whatever, and you're weeding, and you can just simply just run your weeding tool along the edge of this little ring. It's so cute. I kind of bedazzled my own little stand, but this little Tweexy ring pops right out, and you can actually wear it on your hand, which I would advise wearing it on the opposite of your dominant hand. And then as you're weeding the little bits and pieces, you can then just go like that. But today I'm going to be just keeping mine in my stand, and I will try to link this in the description if you haven't seen them already, or you just want to check it out and learn more, or see about purchasing one for yourself. I will try and link that in the description. So while this is on the strong grip transfer tape and it's holding my glitter cardstock nicely on there, I'm going to scrape away these little bits. And even though I just talked so highly about my little Tweexy, I may have just let some of these just drop as well and pick them up later. But when you're using adhesive vinyl or iron-on, that little Tweexy ring is super perfect. So this is a little bit another just tedious, well, you know, I don't want to say time consuming, but it takes a few minutes to pop out all the little bits and just kind of run your I almost said scraper tool, your weeding tool around the edges and make sure that that comes out nicely. And I did do more pressure when I cut the glitter cardstock. So when you go into the settings on Cricut Design Space, when you're going to select your material, before you click the feed button to feed your material into the machine, you can edit the pressure setting. I think you can actually edit the pressure setting after you've fed your material into the machine as well. But Cricut Design Space is continuously updating and changing, so by the time that this video is watched by you, it could be a little different. Okay, now that I got all those little bits out of the way, I'm going to peel off my glitter cardstock scrap. And then this is the glitter cardstock that is going to be part of the wallet. Okay, so that's the other piece for the wallet, and I just want you to take a look at the strong grip mat here. All of the glitter that cut face side down that would have been all over our mat is all over the strong transfer tape. So all those little clumps of glitter all over that would have been stuck to our mat are on the strong transfer tape. And then all I'm going to have to do is just simply grab onto a corner and peel the strong transfer tape off, which I'm not going to fully do it right now because I'm going to reuse this transfer tape to make another one of these wallets. So I'm going to leave it on, but I just want to show you that's all you have to do. Now what does happen, I've noticed, is that sometimes it will cut through the strong transfer tape and it won't peel off as easily as it's coming off right now. But look at how clean the mat is underneath. This is gonna improve the life of your mats, your strong grip mat, whatever mat you use, if you do this technique, as well as your blade. If you saw, after I cut with the glitter face side down, it is saving my blade and keeping my blade life lasting longer. Okay, so now we're gonna put it together. I have it on my wooden easel here, but I just thought it'd be prettier and nicer if I have my little Cricut mat on here to look at while we are putting this together. And then to begin with, I'm just gonna throw a little piece of scrap cardstock to do some gluing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our little black pieces of cardstock and we're gonna take our little same size white designs and then glue them onto the cardstock, the corresponding cardstock. So I have them all lined up. So the first one's going to be my little happy birthday one, and I just have a little piece of scrap cardstock down to not get glue all over my cutting mat. But if you happen to have like silicone mats or whatever you like to craft on that you don't mind getting dirty and that you can wipe off easily later, then by all means do what works best for you. And then I'm just going to use my brayer to just kind of smush that down, and I'm using Elmer's Strong Bond Craft or Extra Strength Craft Bond glue. And then I do have my hot glue gun fired up. I've got it plugged in and getting ready to rock. And if you're wondering where I got the little holder from, I am so lucky. My husband made it for me. I saw one on Etsy and I was gonna order it, and he was like, just like us Cricut crafters, we say, hey, I can make that. He said, I can make that. So he did. He just took a little piece of wood and a little tiny tile. I'm not even sure if he cut a piece of tile or if that was just the size that he happened to get, like a sample piece of tile, and made me the little part that kind of looks like a U shape to plop my little hot glue gun right on top of. And then this one's just a little blank one for this particular design, but you can do whatever you want. In one of my examples that I showed, I actually moved the little cupcake over. So I had celebrate and then the cupcake on one. So this little blank one, you could write a message, you could add a little tiny photo, like if you had a kid's school picture or something like that, just for whatever the occasion may be, for a grandparent or a dad or a mom or sister, aunt, all the things. Like this is just a really cute little wallet gift that we can just change the cardstock or material that we're using, and it can be for anyone for practically any special occasion. Okay, so those are all done. I'm just going to set them aside for now, and then we're going to work on to our little envelope. So this is just going to be inside of the actual envelope part. So this is the lip that's going to glue into it. And I picked this little scoring tool. As you can see, there's that little bit of plastic on the top there from the mold that they broke it off of. If you happen to be shopping and that little bit's on the bottom here, put it back on the shelf and look for one that little bit is there, so it's not going to be on the bottom part that you're going to be using to tool with. And it helps with your little scoring lines, so you can just kind of run it along the edge there. What I usually do is I like to take my scoring lines and I like to fold them in the opposite direction as they're intended to go, and then I'll fold them back the other way. So now I'm just going to fold it back the other direction. And this is going to be our envelope. And it's actually going to go just like that. And then this will go inside and be our flap. I want to have it right on the edge, but then I also want it centered. So let's flip that around. It's looking better except for the edge. Okay, that looks nice. Okay, now I'm gonna hit it with my brayer. And then we are just gonna put a little bit of glue right here and then flip this up and hit it up with the brayer. And I'm gonna just use the edge of my glue stick. And then fold this up, turn it around, and hit that up with my brayer to help adhere it down. And a lot of times what I'll do, like when I'm working on projects, when I'm not using my brayer, I'll actually set this aside and just kind of like lay my brayer with the weight of it on my project to kind of help push it down. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to set that envelope off to the side, and we're going to work on our next part, which is scoring. I don't want to get glue all over this, so I'm going to move my glue over to the side, my little glue strip there. So what's going to happen is this is going to fold back like this. And then this part's going to fold upward. And as you can see, it's going to create two pockets. So what we'll have to do then is fold that initial score line back. And then we will glue it like this. So then you have your two separate slots to put gift cards or the cards that we made like this, stick in there for the little happy birthday or an actual gift card. So this is what we're gonna do. So now that you know where it's going, so we're gonna put some glue right here, fold this way first, then add some glue to these little flaps, and then fold up like that. So let's start here. I'm gonna move my little glue scrap over. And we're gonna put some glue on here. Fold that over. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it on the back side and run it over with my brayer. Now one thing I will notice or note is that when we use our brayer a lot, when we're gluing and all this stuff, we want to make sure to clean our brayers. If you're like me and you use your brayer a lot, gotta make sure we clean that. Okay. So that looks pretty darn good. And so see, the way that I folded it, you've got the Rapunzel pattern more sticking out than this pattern here. This is actually gonna glue to the inside of the wallet. So that looks good. I just want to hit it all over with my brayer. Get that glue nice and squished in there. Okay, we are like almost there. We're almost to our home run here. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is you're gonna take your two separate pieces. This one is the one that's gonna go on the inside, and then this one is gonna go on the outside. So no matter what material you use, the one that has this little window in it is gonna be the inside of the wallet, and the one that does not have the window is gonna be the outside of the wallet. Okay, so again, I'm going to go and just kind of hit up the score lines. So as you can see where the little design marks are, you want to make sure that's covered with your upper layer of cardstock or your inner layer of cardstock. So you don't want it to be like that where you can see the little holes. You want to center this so that you're covering that design and you're going to be able to see the color of the cardstock through the other side, and it's not going to be just like open holes like that. You want to make sure the cardstock's covering it, and then once you get it to where it's covering that, you also want to make sure that like on the ends here that are sticking out, that it's pretty centered. So you want to kind of center that and then look around, make sure that the holes are covered. And if they're not, then just adjust the cardstock until those holes are nicely covered. And it's just gonna fit on there just right. You're not gonna have like a whole lot of wiggle room with that. Okay, and then this is actually gonna fold back like this. So you just wanna fold it back and make sure that it's all covered. Okay, that's looking good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna lift up one little section and throw some glue down. And then I'm going to lift up the other section and throw some more glue down. Okay, that's looking good. And then we're going to go down here, just throw some glue down, smooth that down. You can always add some glue if you need to. And then as always, my love of my brayer, just run that over everything, help secure that glue down, but be careful that you don't tear off the little tabs. Okay, and then you're gonna take these little ends here and you're gonna fold them in, and then it's gonna fold over and be your inside little pouch that you can put a gift card or one of your like happy birthday. This one right here will fit in here if you want to put something like this in here, and then put a gift card on top of it. You can even do that, or vice versa, put the gift card underneath it, however you want to do it. But let's go ahead and finish gluing it. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to glue this little corner first. So I'm going to just put some glue on here. Some glue right there. Fold that over. And then I'm going to add glue all on the back side. Like this. And then fold it over. Now if this part doesn't want to stay down, like the more you build up and have like a thickness and a depth to it, if the craft bond glue doesn't work, if that's what you happen to be using, or I like Aleena's glue. I think it's really great. It really holds up. It's just really wet and it takes a long time to dry. So that's why I prefer using the glue sticks, when the extra strength, when I can. And then I always have my hot glue gun there as a backup too, if need be. So I'm just kind of like folding and seeing that it's puckering right there. So I'm just going to hit it up with my hot glue gun in there. Just do a little bead of hot glue and just smush it down. And the thing about hot glue is let it dry and then just peel it right off. If you have excess, especially when working with fabric, if it happens to ooze out, let it dry. Don't try to get it off while it's wet. And then you'll be able to just peel it right off. Okay, so we are just about done. Now we're going to glue this little pocket on here. So I'm just going to use a bunch of my glue stick here, and then I'm just going to put a little quick bead of hot glue and pop it on there. I'm just going to throw a little bit of hot glue along the edge and plop it right on there before it dries. I'm going to flip it over and hit it up with my brayer. If you don't have a brayer, I love mine and I use it almost every time I craft. Okay, so we are pretty much done, other than this one little tricky part. So this is scored nicely, so we have that nice thickness for how thick the card is on the inside. And then this is scored as well, so it's gonna fold over like that. And if you get confused and you're wondering what to do with this piece, it actually folds backwards like this, which is also reminding me that it needed to be glued underneath. And then we are going to fold this end here, and this actually needs to be glued underneath here. So good thing I didn't like super hot glue that down. And then I want to make sure that's lined up and even on this side. I think that looks pretty decent. So now what I'm gonna do is I can put a little bit of this glue, but I really think I need to hit it up with something strong, like my hot glue. So we are gonna do a little strip here and here, and I'm gonna fold that in and push that down. And then let's just make sure that's even on the other side. Looks good. And then the thing that I noticed is if you don't put a little bit of glue along this edging in here, then whatever card you put in this slot, the back slot, will come sliding right out here. So on the other wallets I've made, I've just taken and just put a little bead of hot glue in the bottom and then squeezed it down. And like I've said before, just let it dry. And once it's dry, you can peel the excess off. Okay, so we got a little bit of extra hot glue there. Just peel it right off. Just being careful that you don't actually peel the paper off or the cardstock. So I just want to make sure that this is down a little better, especially after adding this little lip right here. It's kind of pushing up my cardstock, so I'm going to add a little more hot glue. Just around the corners to make sure that's secure. How much are you guys loving this? Like, isn't this so stinking cute? And then all you're gonna do is fold this over, and that's how you close up the wallet. And then of course, if you wanna add some little gems, which I did with my other wallet, I just added one little gem with my other one, but this one I think I'm gonna add a little bit more. I got this adhesive border at the Dollar Tree. I'm just gonna trim away the part that I don't need. I know I'm gooping up my scissors a little bit here. I have been really bad at not having a non-goopy pair of scissors. Except my fabric scissors. My fabric scissors are just for fabric. Okay. So I think this is gonna fit nicely on here and just jazz it up a little bit, make it look a little more fancy. I'm just trying to like line it up. Let's see, do we have an extra bead? There's 5, 6, yes, so I'm gonna cut this one off so it's even. There we go. I was like, my eye playing tricks on me or what's going on here? Okay. So let's lift that up and kind of center it. That looks pretty darn good to me. So I got this little roll of rhinestones from the Dollar Tree. They came in a little pack. They look like this. So there's my extra on the wallet there to just princess it up a little. And then you open it up. This little Celebrate cupcake can go in here. It'll fit nicely in there. You just have to kind of work it out after the glue has dried. Okay, so that says celebrate. And then if you want to like write something special in a little note and stick it in the front pocket. And then I'm just gonna take this little Olive Garden gift card and just stick it in here, which you could do that, or you can stick in this card and write something, just whatever you choose. So look at how stinking cute this is. Absolutely love it, and I hope you guys love it too. Super sweet. And it can also go with the purse if you wanted to create the purse and then make a wallet to go with it. Oh, and I almost forgot, we've got our little card envelope or wallet envelope that we could put this in. So once it's dried, you can just kind of stretch it out a little bit, slide your wallet in there. And then what I've done is I've actually creased this. It doesn't come scored, but I just kind of give it a nice crease and then fold it over like that, because that is a really thick item inside of this envelope. If you want to do that, or just put the wallet in a gift box, whatever you decide. So if you enjoyed this and you found some benefit and inspiration, please give it a like. And if you want to follow me for future crafting tutorials, make sure that you click subscribe.